You are listening to Comedy Club for Kids presents Radio Nonsense, Radio Nonsense, Radio Nonsense, Radio Nonsense, Radio Nonsense. Dearest listeners, and of course, moosest listeners, and elkest listeners, and antilopist listeners. Anyway, you get what I mean. Do I have a special show for you this week? Welcome to Radio Nonsense, the official Comedy Club for Kids podcast for all ages from... to... and everything in between. And this week... well, you might remember that last week, a very kind listener called Ben, thanks Ben, reviewed this show as the best podcast in existence, which is so lovely of him. But I did decide, after sort of mentioned that last week, to look up podcasts that don't exist to see if there was such a thing, or rather wasn't such a thing. Yeah, it's very confusing. Anyway, today's show comes at you from... Look, quiet, Peter, I'm recording. Yes, I know it's hard for you to understand, as when you record, you don't actually record because none of this exists, but come on, right? Sorry, everyone, that's Peter. He's a huge griffin, because, yes, today's show comes at you from the Comedy Club for Myths HQ, which is on top of an ancient mystical mountain that is in the region... Actually, I can't really tell you because it's not actually there, and it's very complicated to find, and it kind of involves getting a really old map and then looking off the sides of the map and then somewhere else entirely. It took me all of last Wednesday, and I really wouldn't recommend it, but it is very lovely here, and it's a great gang that do the Comedy Club for Myths podcast. Fable-io Lawsons. There's Millie. She's a centaur and has done some brilliant episodes on whether centaurs, like herself, should wear one pair of trousers or two or none. And then there's Medusa.
I will turn you to stone!
Yeah, she's a right laugh. Nessie is over there. And then there's Steve Yeti, the mermaids, the unicorns.
Riddle me this. What is rubbish in the morning, rubbish in the afternoon, and rubbish at night?
Oh, here we go.
It's you! You're so rubbish! Ah, you silly, pathetic human head with a human body! What a weirdo!
That is Phil Sphinx. I mean, you name it, it's here, except for the weird creatures with no names. You can't name them. Those ones. But it's nice to visit and see their podcast set up, despite all the Sphinx chat, which is really annoying. But apart from that, their podcast setup's fascinating. It's like three witches stirring a whirlpool into a cauldron, and then everyone just sort of gathers around and shouts into it, and it somehow releases an episode, which seems a lot easier than all the editing I have to do for this show. I'm not sure I can get three witches at an online shop, or quite where I'd put them in Comedy Club for Kids HQ, but I'm definitely going to look when I get home. It's such a shame, though, that no one knows how to listen to the Comedy Club for Myths podcast, because it can only be whispered from person to person or retold around a campfire, and apparently those don't count as downloads, so I'm going to try and help them work out how to get on Apple Podcasts and sites like that.
I like apples!
Yes, thanks, Pegasus. That's not what I meant. Before I do that, though, let me check admin, if there's any admin to say on this week's Radio Nonsense. Annoyingly, my laptop turned into a cursed book when I arrived, so I'm going to have to open it up to check what I need to say. Yeah, that is really annoying. I'm not going to do that again. Now it's on fire. This place is very, very silly indeed. Well, in that case, just let me remind you that if you want to learn about real facts, not like any of this myth lot, then there's still time to enter our competition to win a free 6-month subscription to Britannica magazine. All you have to do is send in your favourite weird or funny facts by June the 30th, and I will pick 3 winners. It's for UK listeners only, I'm afraid, so if you do live on a mystical mountain, then I'm really sorry, but you can't apply. Yeah, sorry everyone. It is a very fun magazine full of brilliant articles about things like how to discover your own dinosaur. No, it doesn't just say call for your grown-ups or check where they are. Come on, that's just cheeky now, come on. It's also got quizzes, puzzles and more, so do get your chattering shabbaroons, I'm sorry, grown-ups, to help you email us at podcast@comedyclubforkids.co.uk with your favourite weird or funny facts, and you could win. And of course, you can also get in touch with any questions you need answering, and we do need some more, so please do get sending them in so we can make more episodes. Also, if you want to send us jokes or anything else you want to tell us, and don't forget to check out comedyclubforkids.store, full of our Radio Nonsense t-shirts and our brilliant book on how you too can learn to do stand-up comedy. And again, we send those all over the world. You can order them, unless, of course, you are on a mythical mountain on top of a lake made of snakes. Yeah, I mean, I think it's just hard to deliver there, isn't it? I don't really know how the postman can get across that river. It's complicated. I don't know what the delivery costs would be. Anyway, how do the Comedy Club for Myths do the bit where you introduce the important as part of the show? That's why I haven't asked them. Sirens, can you help? Any ideas? No, I couldn't understand that at all. And in fact, I feel a bit woozy after that. So you have a listen to this while I have a sit down on this giant toadstool.
It is smoking! It has told us the way!
Joining me on this week's show is none other than Eleri Morgan, who you may know as Eleri, world's arch nemesis of celery, El Morganiono, or as she's known in Bulgaria, Champion Podrebolia. But of course, all of our listeners will know you as the greatest brick racer in town, creator of Head Shoes, the innovative shoe but for the top end of your body, and most famously, you not once but twice, not but thrice, 632 times have helped the brightest cows go to Mooniversity. So, Eleri, it's a joy to have you on the show. Thank you for having time to come and chat.
You know what? I clearly have an incredibly busy schedule, so you are very lucky to have me.
Yes,
you're very lucky to have me.
Well, I feel lucky. I mean, I know we're really squeezed for time, aren't we? Because you've sandwiched this in with. Have you got lots of the stuff on today, haven't you? Is this?
Yeah. Between racing bricks, which let me tell you takes time. It's not a fast race. Those things are dense and heavy. Between that and educating cows, which isn't as easy as it looks, isn't as easy as it looks. They're a very peaceful, placid creature, but they haven't got a massive sort of propensity to want to learn about maths and Latin.
Sure. It's interesting you say, because you make both brick racing look incredibly easy, and I think you make educating cows look very easy. And so it's interesting for you to say that it's not, and that brick racing does take a lot of time. Let's start with the brick racing for a second. What do you have to do to really get a brick race ready, I guess?
Shall I tell you the way I make it look easy? Just some inside tips here. Always start at the top of the hill.
Ah, brilliant.
Always start at the top of the hill. That's the best way. Some people start at the bottom and they want to go up, and I say no. Start at the top, aim for the bottom. Unlike the rest of life, with brick racing, you want to be going downhill.
Yeah, that's really sharp. And that sounds like a pretty important factor. Are there other important factors? Like, if you paint a go faster stripe on a brick, does that help?
Almost not at all.
Right, sure.
Okay. It doesn't stop me from doing it. Sure. But let me tell you, barely any difference in results once you've painted them.
Right. And
if anything, the extra weight of the paint, it makes them even heavier. Right. It's not...
This might be where I've been going wrong. I was just heavily painting my bricks and then sort of trying to push them along a flat surface, and it wasn't...
What you want to do is try and get as much weight off that brick as possible.
Right. Because the other thing I was trying was like seeing if like you needed a lure, so like I had a little carrot on a stick, and they didn't go for that. Like something to try and get them to go faster, but no. No, they can't be bribed, a brick. They can't. Incredibly moral object. Right. They won't be bribed. In fact, sometimes they'll really kick back against that and start to shuffle back up the hill. Oh, no. Right. Well, this is where, I haven't, I can't claim to have tried it more than once or twice. Partly in seeing that, how well you did it. And, you're an inspiration, I think, to many. And these tips hopefully will help some of the listeners brick race properly. But I obviously saw that you'd done it, and I thought, well, maybe I can just, I've seen a brick before. There's a brick or two around the area in the wild near where I live. There's some, there's some urban bricks, there's some rural bricks. I didn't know the difference. I just sort of picked one up and went for it, but it wasn't very successful, unfortunately.
I found that urban bricks are a little tougher, so they've got more endurance. The country bricks, they can be a bit whimsical for my liking for a race. Yeah, a bit too whimsical for a race. Hard to gather them up and get them going,
But your knowledge is absolutely amazing. I mean, this is why you're an expert. You know, this is one of the reasons we've got you on the podcast. And you know, just briefly, you know, that the cows and educating them. As I said, you make that look very easily. Is there a subject that's particularly difficult to teach cows if they want to kind of go to university or Mooniversity, to study?
To get to Mooniversity, if you will. Thank you.
Sorry.
They're not brilliant. They're not brilliant at other languages or any language.
Right.
If I'm honest with you, I feel like they understand more than they let on. It's a very one-way conversation, you know, in Spanish with a cow.
Sure. How do cows speak to cows from, you know, presumably you're dealing with cows predominantly in Wales, or do you deal with cows all over the world?
Mainly Wales. Sometimes we get in some, you know, we'll get some in like an exchange program. And we might get in some like Spanish fighting bulls.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Once an elk from Canada actually managed to sort of slip through the net. We had him for a while, but we had to get rid. He was upsetting all the others. Oh,
that's a shame. Was he keen to learn or not so much?
He wasn't so keen to learn, and also just the massive sort of cultural dissonance was really hard between the elks and the cows. They had very little to teach each other.
That's very sad. You know, you'd kind of hope that these kind of big, what would you say, Frisian species? I don't know what you call the cow family, but that I assume elks are part of the cow family. Maybe I'm being terribly cowish here.
Megafauna. You know what? We did an exchange program with some water buffalo a few months ago, and that went down incredibly well.
Lovely. Yeah.
Cow aquatics. Lots of cow aquatic classes. They loved it. They love the synchronized swimming. Cows love. You'd think they love it more than you imagine.
That's lovely.
Finding a swimming pool large enough was tricky, but they had a great time.
Good. I'm glad. I mean, that would have been one of my questions as well, because they're sort of called water buffalo, but they have to. You can't just put them in a glass of water. They won't fit in that. You know.
No. You could put a glass of water on them, but they will not get in one.
Yes, so it's quite tricky. It's sort of, it's a lot of things like that, isn't it? Like watermelons, quite too big to fit in a glass of water, unless you really squish them, you know. But you sort of think if you put water at the front, then maybe you can have a cup of them, but you can't. Yeah.
Is this a good point or a completely insane point that you're making?
It's a very good. Well, you know, again, you're the expert. I mean, I put it to, you know, I think judging by the way you've reacted to it, maybe it is something that I've been over-analysing, and probably should stop trying to put water buffalo in cups. And that may be why I get in trouble at the zoo as well. That probably explains it. So yeah. Come to think of it, that's definitely why I get in trouble at the zoo. Well, look. Anyway, you know, how are you in between the sort of brick racing and cow training? Are you well? Are you good?
I'm very good. And you know, you mentioned in the beginning the celery thing. Did you know that my nickname for years was Celery?
Was it?
Everyone, because they couldn't say my name. They couldn't say Eleri, so they call me Celery instead. Which I don't think is that similar. Well,
I was going to say, I said your name wrong at the top there. So is it Eleri? Is that right?
It's Eleri. Yeah,
right.
Perfect.
Right.
But people would call me Celery.
They should at least gone for Celery, shouldn't they? And then it would have been
like
better.
Celeriac.
Yeah.
Yes, that would have been closer. That's like calling you Tiernan and then being like, that's tricky, blancmange.
Yeah, which I'm a bit upset about. What the kids used to at school have difficulty trying to find words that rhymed with my name, so I'd just get called like Biernan or Wiernan, and I'd have to sort of confront them and go, but what is that? And then they'd go, I don't know, and then they'd leave it, and that was sort of, it was too difficult for them. Yeah.
What rhymes with Tiernan?
Very little.
Spearman. Very little. Spearman mince.
Spearman mince, yeah. Cinnamon. No, not really. It's hard. What they used to do is break it down into, so it'd be something to do with nans or naan bread or tears or you know. So they'd have to break it down. It became overly. I don't think it works when it becomes overly complicated.
That's true. I used to get smellery.
Yeah, that's brutal. That's hard.
But it's, you know what do you expect when you spend your weekends with water buffalo and and Frisians.
That's hard. That is hard. I mean, I had a friend at school, Louis, and he was always Louis the Pooey. And that's just that's it, isn't it? You can't, do you know what I mean? And even Louis sounds like a toilet. So it's always like, if there are any Louis listening, I just want you to know that I hope you're not going through this. My friend Louis was quite upset about it for a while. Yeah.
That's amazing, because I know for a fact, lots of my friends, when they have babies, they sit down and they think, right, we need to make sure we give our baby a name that cannot be turned into a nickname. But as proof, they'll turn any name into a nickname.
Yeah, nothing
People did it with Tiernan.
Invincible.
Sort of, they tried.
Yeah, they tried. They tried. Beernan's still a bit, especially when you're a kid and beer isn't great. Like, sort of, when you're older and beer's great, it's fine. But when you're a kid, it's like, I don't want to be a beer nan. A nan that drinks beer. Yeah, so, that's fair. Did you mind being, compared to celery? Because I quite like celery, and celery is very good for you. And sometimes a bit chewy, but it's very good for you. So, I know some people don't like celery. Did you find it? How were you with the comparison?
I didn't mind it at all. I think celery is very unoffensive. I think well priced.
Yes.
And a bit fresh, which is how I like to describe myself.
Yes, yeah, and it's not unlike a sort of little person, because it's often got the fluffy bits at the top like hair, and then it's a sort of stick. So it's sort of, if you drew a little face on a celery, it
looks like that nice. Muppet. What's the Muppet with the beaker?
Yeah, healthy beaker.
Weirdly, I find that more offensive than the celery. I think I'd rather be compared to a celery than a tall, hairy man.
Who just goes, meh, meh, meh. Yeah, that would be, yeah, that's fair, actually. I think celery's a nicer comparison. That's fair.
Yeah, I like celery.
Wow. Well, I mean, this is, because I was going to ask what is brick racing and cow educating that you've got on today. Generally, though, life's all right. Is it because are you in deepest Wales, or are you in not as deep Wales? Whereabouts are you?
Oh, what's deep Wales versus not deep Wales? I'm not sure.
I don't know. I know in Wales there's the Big Pit, which I've been to. That's quite deep, isn't it?
Oh, have you?
Yeah, I have. It was a very... well, I say it was unexciting. It was actually quite good, but there was a bit where... Because for listeners, if you haven't been to a Big Pit, it is basically a very deep former coal mine. And there is a bit when you're in it, when they just turn off all the lights, and then you go, I think that's the darkest I've ever been, like in a room, and it's actually quite scary. And then they start telling you about, like, oh, there were rats here, and they would bite people, and there was all this. And I'm like, oh, can I go upstairs now, please? I don't like it.
I went to Big Pit in the way that every single school child in Wales goes to the Big Pit for a day, and we still don't know why. Like, that was our day out, just to go to a very big hole. Yeah. And I didn't realise it wasn't normal until I met children who went to other schools in England, and they were like, we went to a Techniquest, or we went to the, the Millennium Dome for a day out, or we went to the British Museum. Where did you go, Larry? A very big hole.
Which is very funny. I mean, obviously, there are historical contexts, but it's still just a big hole. Like, for kids, it's not that exciting to just go and see a big hole, unless, like, maybe there should be opportunities for the kids. It's like, okay, kids, here's a big hole. Here's 6 million marbles. Fill it. Fill the pit up with marbles or something.
Make it exciting.
Yeah.
But I find it really. Where did you grow up? Did you grow up in a city, or did you grow up in a village?
Yeah, I'm a city boy. I grew up in North London, in a lovely area called Finsbury Park.
Oh, lovely. Okay,
it's not a particularly lovely area.
I think when you grow up in cities, it's very easy for school trips to go, okay, let's go 20 minutes and we'll go to, for example, the London Zoo. Whereas I suppose I did grow up in deepest, darkest Wales. I can tell you that the 3 school trips I went on, one was to the Big Pit, as we've established, just a hole. The second one was to a man's front garden, because he had a water feature.
Wow.
Just had a water feature. That was it. Also, we found out during it, I don't think this was part of it, and I think the teachers were slightly unnerved by the man. We found out he absolutely despised moles, because he gave us an hour-long lecture. Once he showed us the water fountain, about how awful moles are.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
that was it. Brought out all his tools he used for tackling them, which was just a stick and a big net.
Yeah, that's amazing. Do you think he's probably not gone to Big Pit for fear that like giant moles live there?
Maybe. Is Big Pit actually just the biggest molehill of all?
It could be. It could be. I love that this man was like, right, kids are here. Let's educate them on what they really need to know, which is that moles are awful.
Moles. Moles are awful. And none of us really cared either way about moles. We were just there to see the water feature. The third place we went to was my farm. My parents are farmers. They just went back to my house. So I had to go to my house. And then when the school day had ended, they wouldn't let me stay. I had to get back on the bus to go to school to then walk back to my farm.
Wow. That is really annoying. That is. Could you
Really
not have just
annoying.
let yourself? You weren't of an age where you could have just let yourself in, and then they couldn't have got you back out to take you to school. You'd be like, well, I've locked my
No,
door.
they said, we're really sorry, Larry. We have to. We've done the the register. We need to do the register when we're back at school. We can't have a child go missing. Went okay.
Wow.
Those are our 3 school trips. I bet yours were better.
That is. I mean that. Yeah. I mean that is amazing. There's a. It must have been very weird having children go around your home. And did you have to guide them around, or did they get a guided tour by someone else that you didn't know?
I wasn't allowed to guide them round. The teachers did, and I was like, I think I know this house better than me.
Yeah. Wow, but it could have been quite. I mean, I suppose there must have been elements of fun where a teacher could say, you know, here's where this and this happens. You can be like, no, it isn't. Rubbish.
No.
And they can't have a go at you for speaking up because you know the truth. It's your
It was
home.
my property.
Yeah. And if you should have, did you only get to do that once? Go around your own farm.
Only I don't think my Snowith farm thrilled the school board enough for them to want to go back.
It'd just be great. Like if you knew that other classes, younger kids were going after you, you could set up traps. You could have set up little signs,
that
like
would have
things
been
saying
brilliant.
like, you know, Mrs. Smith is a poo face or whatever. Or just like different signs to like catch teachers out. You could have had some of your trained cows. Talk to there's It feels like there was an opportunity for mischief there. Definitely.
I could have booby trapped the place like Home Alone.
Yes, absolutely. And then those kids
I
would have
do my
gone
thing.
flying or fallen in pit. Yeah, I keep coming back to pits. I think it's on my mind. Yeah, it's yeah. I think if there are listeners hearing this and school kids come around and do a tour of your home, definitely. No, maybe you shouldn't booby trap it. I'm thinking about this actually. I could get people in a lot of trouble. Yeah. Yeah.
That's a shame. I was going to do a shout out and say if there are any children in, Talabont Primary School and they're being forced to go to a farm, you need to booby trap that up. Get those teachers in a slurry pit. Get them in a slurry pit.
I mean, yeah, that is definitely. That would be the talk of the school forevermore. You've had to a teacher's had to get on the bus absolutely covered head to toe.
Head to toe in cow poo.
Wow, so grim. Well, thank you for having time to be on this podcast. I've got to. Firstly, this is an audio podcast. I'm not sure if you're aware of that. I don't know how much you know, but this is audio, so most of our listeners will be listening to this, as I always say, hopefully with their ears, but they may listen with their bums or their elbows or their knees. I don't want to discriminate how people listen. It's up to them really. And because it's audio. I just wanted to check if you had a favourite noise that you could either tell us about or possibly even do for us.
A favourite noise. Okay, I can only really rarely do that. I've got 2 noises that I love. Mm-hmm. One I can rarely do. I'm sure you've seen this before. It's where you blow up your cheeks and you purse your lips and you pop your finger in and you make a popping noise. I love that one so much. Oh, I'm not great at it. Oh, that was a fart noise. That was my favourite noise. That was a bit of air escaping from my face bump. Right. It's really hard.
It's... Oh, yeah, there you go. Perfect. That was a perfect one. Yeah, that was great. See, I actually can't do it, so I'm in awe. I'm in awe of your ability to do it. I've tried for years and years and years. It just doesn't work.
You can't do it?
No.
Do you accidentally do the fart noises as well?
I only ever do the fart noises and then just end up with sort of like getting spit everywhere, and it's horrible.
You've got lovely big cheeks, though. I thought you'd be able to fill them loads with air.
No. There's a dimple on one, and I wonder if that sort of ruins the airflow.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe the dimple mutes the sound a little bit.
It might be. It might be like, say, if you got a trumpet or someone, and then someone like treads on it, and then it just can only go. Yeah, that's what it might be. That's a good noise, though. That it's a good. And also, has it got? Can you apply it in real life? There must be some nice moments when people have got like a bottle of fizzy pop and they think it's closed, and then you make the noise and think, oh no, it might have opened. Oh no, it hasn't.
So much mischief to be had with this noise. Unfortunately, as you've seen, with me, it takes 3 or 4 attempts. So I think, but they're like this fizzy pop. There's something worse than it being opened here.
That's fair. Yes, that's fair. Especially with the farting noises and the.
Yeah.
We've
got more to worry about than it being opened at this point. The pop is farting. Something's wrong.
That's very fair. And what was it? You said you had a second noise as well.
I can do an amazing impression of a squeaky toy.
Okay.
I've actually stood back. I tried to stand back from the computer, but the microphone is attached to my face, so it's going to be just as loud. Sorry.
Whoa.
Quite good.
That is very good.
Like a goose. Oh, wait, that went wrong. It's touch and go on if I can do these.
That is very good. That is very good.
Squeaky toy or a goose in the wind?
Oh, I mean, I'd say there's not a lot of difference between the two. I think potentially goose in the wind, but I think there's also definitely that like someone's just trodden. It's very much like someone's trodden on a squeaky toy, I'd say.
Yeah, a massive squeaky toy, because I've got to be honest, I'm a baritone.
Right.
If I was a soprano, I think it would sound. It's like imagine the world's biggest squeaky toy.
Wow, which a lot of people would step on because it would be huge. They probably wouldn't have a choice.
You'd want to dive and belly flop on it, wouldn't you?
You could put it in the big pit, you see, and then that's where we go, and everyone, and then it becomes just a big area for people to dive and create that lovely sound.
See, that would be lovely. Not a black hole where they talk about rats.
No, exactly. Which should be horrid. Do you have a squeaky toy in mind when you do the noise? Are you sort of envisaging this is a squeaky a duck or perhaps
I'm imagining a giant, and I'm talking a 20-foot tall brown bear.
Oh, lovely.
But friendly, but massive.
Yeah.
Smiling, but huge.
Yeah. I think it's. Well, also, I like that you put the friendly there. It's very hard for a squeaky toy to be unfriendly, I think. Because I don't think you could be sort of angry or aggressive. If you're a squeaky toy and you had a point to make and all you could do was go, aha, everyone would just be like, what's that meant to be? You know?
Shall I try an aggressive squeaky toy sound?
Please do.
Okay.
That's actually just quite creepy, but that's amazing. Yeah,
that's an angry squeaky toy. You don't want to mess with that one.
My goodness, I think if anyone comes across a squeaky toy that makes that noise, they need to leave it well alone.
Don't be squeaking it.
No, don't leave that alone. Yeah, just run like the wind. Yeah, run like a goose in the wind. Wow, those are amazing noises. Thank you so much. And the other thing I have to ask you, of course, this is a family-friendly podcast. It's suitable for people of all possible ages that you can imagine. Can you imagine an age?
Can I imagine an age?
Yeah.
Yeah. The age I'm imagining is 204.
Oh, lovely. Yes, we're totally suitable for 204-year-olds. In fact, the only age it's not suitable for is 100. It's a long story, but if there's any 100-year-olds listening, they need to back away and stop it. We've had words about this on the show before. But generally, every other age, including the one you imagined, this show is absolutely suitable for. Yeah, completely. For every, like, from -6 all the way to sort of 6 billion and, immortals, really.
From -6 to 99 and then 101? Or do you have to be out of the hundreds?
No, you can jump 101. As soon as a 100-year-old becomes 101, they can listen again. it's very like I don't want that to, we can talk about this for hours. There's a lot of reasons they've done a lot to upset me and the podcast, and frankly they get a letter from the Queen. They don't need a podcast. You know, like they've got their own things going on. Anyway, look. So what I'm saying is it's suitable for all ages apart from 100, especially 204. And I just wondered if there were going to be if there are any rude words that you definitely won't be saying. That's what I need to know.
Okay, rude words I won't be saying. Bum flaps.
Oh,
probably won't be saying that.
No, don't say bum flaps. No,
shouldn't say bum flaps.
Please don't say bum flaps. Yeah,
I do enjoy saying it.
Yeah,
but I won't say bum flaps.
Yeah, I think I can see why you'd enjoy. It's a very satisfying word to say, bum flaps, but I wouldn't ever want anyone to say it on a podcast that is suitable for all ages. It's quite offensive, isn't it? I don't think I've heard anything quite so awful as bum flaps in my life.
It's pretty bad. You know who loves saying it? 100-year-olds, I heard. Yeah,
you're not wrong, and that is another reason why I don't want anyone saying bum flaps on this podcast, because it will draw them in. A bit like how well, a bit like how like bricks can't be bribed. 100-year-olds, they hear bum flaps, they will travel for hundreds and hundreds of miles. Even though often, and I don't mean to generalise, often 100-year-olds hearing isn't great, but that is one word that comes through crystal clear wherever they are.
I've heard if you like on a waning moon, if you stand on top of a mountain at a waning moon and you get a big horn like the horn of Gondor. And just once, you just need to say it once, bum flaps. And that'll echo through the valleys. And then you'll hear a rumbling in the distance. What's that? 1,100-year-olds on mobility scooters.
Yes. Yes. Ugh, which is just...
all making their way to you.
And they'd be out to ruin this podcast. I mean, again, I wonder if, coming back to earlier conversation, the trick here is you do that from the middle of Big Pit, but maybe you've got a helicopter escape route, and then you lure the 100-year-olds into the big pit, and you fly away, and then just put a little lid on top or something.
That's a brilliant idea, and not a little lid. It would be it'd
be a big lid,
incredibly big lid.
Yeah, that's true. But I don't want to squish them. I don't want, I'm not saying I want harm to 100-year-olds. It's just that they have. They're a constant source of nonsense, sort of not nonsense. We like nonsense here. They're sort of irritation. They like to complain a lot, and frankly, this show is not for them. 101-year-olds, delightful, absolutely lovely.
Oh,
send me some of the nicest letters, but 99-year-olds again, really thoughtful people. But just So look, anyway, I think it's that thing of thinking, I'm 100. I'm the big dog. I'm the big Charlie Big Potato, and it's like you're not, right? Just because you got 3 numbers in your age doesn't mean you're. Danny Legend, does it? So anyway, I'm just saying. Well, yeah. Please, you won't be saying bum flaps. Thank you for not saying. I won't say bum flaps.
Okay.
And please don't say bum flaps as well. Yeah.
We'll try not to. I'll try my hardest.
Thank you very much. Well, now the reason I've got you here, obviously, I mean it's lovely to have you here anyway in your busy schedule. But the reason I've got you here is we've been sent in 2 questions from, and I'll read you this person's name as it was emailed to me. So they put their name as from the 50%, and then they put the Scottish flag emoji, and 50%, and then they put the English flag emoji. They said the one and only Sir Poopington Fartworthy. And that's what they said their name was, and they also put P.S. the angry poo is my favourite emoji ever, but they didn't put that in the email. So I'm like, they don't want me to see their favourite one. What's that all about?
I didn't know there was an angry poo emoji.
Me either. I thought there was a happy poo emoji.
I thought there was a happy poo emoji. Is there an angry one?
Maybe.
Is this a secret land of emojis that we don't have access to?
Just really unhappy ones. Yeah, I don't know if I'd want to see an angry poo, because having had angry poos in my life, I don't think I'd want to. They're not normally fun to sort of look at.
I think I would have more use for an angry poo emoji than a happy poo emoji.
Yeah, that's true. Because similarly, there's not many times where you really want a happy poo either.
No, not really. No. But I think you could use the angry poo emoji as a warning or a threat.
Yes. Like you better stop doing that, or these moles need to go away, or I'll What, leave an angry poo? No, that's quite horrible. I don't know what you. How would you use it as a threat?
I'd just be like, you carry on with your day's work and keep your head down. Otherwise, angry poo.
Yeah,
Otherwise,
that's
angry
actually
poo.
quite scary. Yeah,
I think
that is
so.
quite scary. Yeah, yeah. I think that noise you made earlier of the angry squeaky toy it's a very good angry poo noise. Yeah. There it is. There's the angry poo. Well, there you go. That's Sir Poopington Fartworthy will be delighted that you is Sir as well. So it's quite.
It's fancy.
We only get some pretty fancy people listening to this year's show. And I also don't know that. I assume that Sir Poopington Fartworthy is 50% Scottish, 50% English, but they could be 50% one flag and 50% another flag, and they could be a flag.
Well, if it's 50% the English flag and 50% the Scottish flag, that's the Union Jack, Tiernan.
Yes, it is, isn't it? Because and we shouldn't really bring this up on this podcast, but it's a point of contention. The Welsh flag, like they always just think there should be a big dragon in the middle of it.
Bursting through.
Yeah, like absolutely just like bursting through, and maybe you're sort of burning bits of it off and
saying,
"I'm
big
here,
fire mouth.
Don't forget me." Yeah.
Yeah. And then it's got two huge red eyes, but you look close into the eyes and it's just two angry poo emojis.
That's the best flag. That's right. That's what the flag needs to be. My goodness. Yeah. Well, Sir Poopington Fartworthy, if you have any say in this sort of thing, get on your Sir. Probably do. Well, Sir Poopington Fartworthy sent two, what I would say is quite incredible questions, and they're questions that I know most of our listenership are dying for the answers for, and I think you're the person that can help us here, Eleri. Okay. We'll do them. Let's do them one at a time. That's how they do it in the cleverest places on the planet. So we'll go for question one, right?
Yes.
So I'm going to try and read this as it's written. Why do Lego not make big bum pieces?
Oh, big bum pieces.
Yeah.
That's interesting. To have a big bottom.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's so you can give all the little characters big bums, or if it's so you could just decorate your buildings with a giant bum on the side. Yeah. Yeah.
They're quite good because you can hold things in bums, can't you? Between the two. They'd be quite good to leave like walking sticks or...
Sure. Yeah.
I can't think of anything else. Bikes.
Bike rack, yeah, definitely a good place for bike racks. I'm trying to think what Lego have a whole Harry Potter set. There's a wand, all the wizard gear. There's loads
all
of
the
stuff.
Wizard gear and no bums.
Yeah. So it is odd, isn't it, that they don't do big bum. I mean, like you say, I don't know if Sir Poopington Fartworthy wants them for little figures, but they say big bum pieces. So if you gave a little figure a big bum, they'd sort of fall over.
Well, but see, now, if you look at a Lego piece, they're not the most anatomically accurate. I mean, their heads are as big as their bodies. So would you have something with that ratio, a bum as big as its legs? Or would you, because I think he's making an excellent point here, because it would have to be a big bum piece, because if they made a Lego bum piece the size that a Lego man would need, very, very, very small bum piece.
Yeah,
be a choking hazard, and no one wants to choke on a bum.
No, that's very true. That is very true. Yeah, I mean, is it? There is a thing of Lego characters often have to sit in quite uncomfortable place. They often have to sit on in fact, on the little Lego dots, which can't be comfortable. Having trod on a Lego dot, really uncomfortable.
Can't be comfortable. Also, they've got no knees, so their legs just shoot straight out.
Yeah, I mean, how do they do stairs?
You know why I don't think they have bums? Because they can't squat.
Right.
Because if you want a nice big bum, you have to do lots of squats. But if you've got no knees, how do you build up your bum?
Yeah, and I mean, and I suppose like with the no knees, if they would like to sit on the loo, the only way they could get off the loo is by rocking themselves forward until they fell off, and then their head would hit the floor and their bum would be in the air.
Yeah. I think this is how I feel about Lego. Quite hard workers, very industrious, aren't they? You're always building stuff, making stuff. I think they've purposefully not been given bums so they can never sit down and rest. So they always must be working.
Oh, that's quite sad. That's quite sad. So you're
It's like a
thinking
slave empire.
Lego wouldn't give them big bumpies because then they just find these guys be like, I'm not building anything. I'm sitting on my big bum.
I'm going to spend all day sitting on my sweet old big bum. So cozy.
Yeah. It'd be lovely if you got the little instruction booklets and page 1 is just a Lego figure going, nah, I can't be bothered. I'm having to sit down.
I got a big bum now. I can spend my day sitting on it. If I said to you, Tiernan, this is your option, you can either work all day and not rest, or work all day and you can rest. But the only way you can rest is by having something shoved up you to hold you in place.
Oh, no.
Because that's how they sit, sitting on that big, hard plastic like thing. What's the opposite of a hole?
They're called Lego dots. They're dots. They're little. I think they're called dots. And or studs. That's it. Studs, isn't it? Yeah.
Studs. If you had to be by your bum, shoved down on a stud, would you say, actually, I think I'll work through lunch?
Yeah. And I just can't imagine it's so uncomfortable getting off it because you have to sort of peel you have to peel them off it, and then that'd probably be a bit like when you've got like sellotape in your face or something. You tear it off, and it's like, ow. You know.
Do you think Lego men have a union? Because this could be something that they could raise.
There should be, shouldn't there? I mean, I feel like, there's quite there's very rarely do you see like a Lego toilet or a Lego kitchen. They don't really ever have like a Lego green room or staff room to hang out in.
It's true.
There's not a lot of space.
It's always huge buildings, helicopters, ships, spacecrafts. What about a deck chair?
Yeah, that'd be really nice, wouldn't it? But yeah, just somewhere to relax. I mean, so my daughter's most recent Lego toy gain was a little helicopter that has got like water cannons on the side, and somebody who's making a hot dog, but it's gone on fire, right? And so this poor person can't even have a hot dog. It's gone on fire. And then the other person's got to get in a helicopter because they can't even have a hot... And really, what a nice kit would just be someone sitting down having a hot dog.
Yeah, just someone sitting down, have a lovely hot dog on a really nice big bottom.
Yeah, that'd be a much nicer... Yeah, I mean, I'm starting to... I always really like Lego, but you're starting to make me think that they're pretty harsh in the way they treat their minifigures.
I don't think I even considered it until I heard about big bum pieces. I'd never put those pieces, if you will, together.
Whoa. Wow.
I know. Thank you.
I mean, it's really, wow, that was brilliant.
Thank you.
Because I did wonder, you've never Lego brick raced, have you? I'm assuming that's a whole different sport.
No, it's very, very, very different Lego brick racing. I just do this traditional standard sort of masonry brick racing, if you will.
Yeah, of course. It's a different. I know it's a different field. I shouldn't really be comparing it. It's.
Please don't.
Yeah, I won't. But what I do want to ask you before we move on to the next one, though, is if Sir Poopington Fartworthy was thinking of the other way of maybe just like big bum bits that you could put on the big buildings. Are there any buildings, Lego or just real, that you think would look better with a huge bum on them?
I think most buildings would look more inviting with a big old bum. Would it be, you could have a bum as an entrance? That'd be fun.
Oh, no, then you got to walk
would
into
you
a
have,
bum.
Actually, a bum would be an exit, wouldn't it? You'd have a big mouth as an entrance.
Yeah. And then
then a bum as an exit. If we're going to be scientific about our bum buildings.
I think that's I say a better idea, but I still don't like the idea that you've been pooed out by a building. There's something a bit like, I've been pooed out by the Empire State Building. Like, there's something a bit weird about that, isn't there? Yeah, that is. Yeah, I'd quite like. See, I'm a Star Wars fan. There's lots of Star Wars Lego, and I quite like the idea of the big Death Star Wars, but with a massive bum on it. I think there's something very funny about that. I don't know.
I think everything in life can be improved with a big bum.
Yeah,
I'm convinced.
Well, there's the famous Obi-Wan Kenobi line of, "That's no moon, that's a space station." But if it was a big bum, he'd go, "That is a moon. It's a big mooning bum," and that would be me laughing for most of my life. Yeah. No, I mean, I think you sort of answered the question in that. Well, sadly, there should be big bum pieces. It sounds like, but mainly it seems like Lego are just very mean to their little guys and gals.
I think Sir Poopington Fartworthy should write a letter to Lego HQ.
Yes. I like he's fartworthy, I should say. But you've added, but you've made but I think the bum pieces. Why don't we add a big bum piece to Sir Poopington Fartworthy and make them Sir Poopington Bumworthy?
Well, it's because we've said bum more times than I've ever said in my life. In about 5 minutes.
It's okay because you haven't said bum flaps, so it's okay. So it's still
a few. Do you think Sir Poopington Fartworthy has an agenda here? Now that I'm hearing his name again, and the fact that he wants bums everywhere.
Well, it's funny you should say that because I don't know. Would you like to hear the second question? And I don't know if you'll get a theme from this.
Okay, let's hear the second question.
The second question from Sir Poopington Fartworthy, who may or may not have an agenda, with the angry poo being their favourite emoji and talking about Lego bum pieces. The second question is, why do you never hear famous people farting?
It's like a one policy party.
Yeah.
but I will say,
that
is a really good question.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard a famous person fart?
No, I don't think I have. No.
Have you ever heard a teacher fart?
Oh. Do you know what? Not in memory, but I wonder if I did, and then we had to have our memories wiped because it was just so terrible.
Our maths teacher once farted in school.
Wow.
And she could never teach again.
Yeah, that's it. You have to just leave, don't you? That's it. You have to leave, never come back.
She did a fart and then she went, "I retire," and she left, and we never saw her again.
It is the most embarrassing thing I think a teacher could ever do. Yeah, because if they were like sick in class, like if they threw up everywhere, you'd still at least feel a bit sorry for them. But a fart is like, no, that's farted.
It. You got to go. She once got herself stuck in a chair, so we all forgave her for that. But the fart, we thought we'll never be able to.
She got stuck in a chair.
Yeah. She got stuck in a chair.
Was she a Lego person? Did she?
She didn't get stuck in a chair. It was really weird. She was wearing a long cardigan, and the long cardigan got stuck in the chair. So but she tried to carry on with the class. So for the rest of the class, she tried to teach whilst holding the chair up.
That's amazing.
So she herself, it was her clothes, but it was a cardigan. I don't understand why she didn't take the cardigan off.
That's amazing. I hope that she's still holding that chair to this day. And did she go around your farm with the holding the chair and
Yeah, it's actually genius because she always had a seat on the bus.
Yeah, see, it's quite nice in a way, isn't it? That you'd always have somewhere to sit down. I'd sort of stick to my guns and be like, well, I'm not embarrassed by this. I'm now just going to live with this chair as my sort of friend, and that's it.
Yeah. Maybe she played the game. She played that. That's the best way. It's the best thing you can do is if you pretend that you're not embarrassed by the thing you're embarrassed about, people don't care. It's genius.
Yeah.
So she clearly acted like, no, this is just my chair. I like to hold it as I teach maths.
Yes, that is it. So I have to. There was a boy called Daniel at my school, and this I hope you're gonna be impressed by this. I still think about this to this day as one of the best things I've ever seen. He when he came to school there was something called a snake board, and it was like a skateboard, but it had two different moving bits for your feet, and they were really stupid, and they didn't last very long because everyone fell off them. And he skated into the middle of the playground on his snakeboard, fell off it, tumbled, landed right on his face, and everyone crowded round to laugh at him. But what he did was got up, joined the crowd, pointed at the centre and go, "Ha ha, look at that idiot that just fell on his face. Ha ha, he was stupid snakeboard." And everyone was like, "What? But it was you, but now you're here and you're laughing."
Amazing.
And it confused everyone. And then they all just left and no one mentioned it again.
Amazing tactic.
Yeah. Incredible.
Amazing.
Yeah.
What a genius snakeboarding boy.
Yes, it was absolutely brilliant. Yeah, and I think about that often, about how how many times when, I mean, that's what that teacher that farted should have done, just walked away and go, who on earth would have farted? What an idiot. And then just
I think she might have gotten into trouble if she started pointing at one of the pupils and being like, look who farted here. Like, we all saw you, Mrs.
He who
Byers.
smelt it dealt it. Yeah. Oh, that's brilliant. But why do you think famous? Because well, you've heard a teacher fart, but have you heard a famous person ever trump?
No, and the reason I say I saw a teacher fart is because obviously I saw it. I didn't see it. I smelt and heard it.
You didn't see it. Yeah.
But obviously it was such a rare occurrence because I remember it to this day. Like, I don't think anyone in authority figures maybe don't fart. And is a celebrity an authority figure? Why don't celebrities fart?
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's, because often you see celebrities, they're on the red carpet. Maybe the red carpet's got things in it to like kind of hide fart sounds and smells. Maybe they wear like big sponge pads, like big sponge knickers to absorb. Yeah, because I mean, it can't just be that you become famous and then you don't fart anymore. You have an operation and they say, get rid of the thing that makes you fart. I'm on TV now. Yeah. Chop it off. That can't happen. They can't just do you think they've all got fake bums? Maybe when you get famous enough and you think, well, look, if I fart on the red carpet, like Mrs. Byers, the teacher, my career's over. If you fart on the red carpet, you have to announce to the paparazzi, I retire from show business. So maybe they get their bums removed. My goodness. Maybe this is it. Maybe we're really uncovering some deep celebrity secrets here, that most celebrities have had their bums removed, replaced with a fake bum, so they never ever fart again. Because you know that if you farted on stage, on the red carpet, hosting the Oscars, if you did a fart, career's over. Yeah. It's a shame though, because I think it'd be all these events would be more entertaining if they just farted throughout them. It's like, so you're here to talk about your brand new movie? Yes, I am. But first, hold it, and then like sort of just like did that as a. Well, I think we'd all be happier, but I'm just think probably they'll never be taken seriously as good luck getting an Oscar now, fart face. They'll say. Yeah. That's really sad, isn't it? It's because, like, in the olden days, there were films like Gone with the Wind, which I assume is about a fart. I've never seen it. So I assume that was all about farting. And nowadays, we just don't want to, And back in the day when it was silent films, they were just guffing and farting the whole time. Yeah, of course, you couldn't hear them, so they farted all the time. Yeah. Yeah, but if you look closely, look at their faces. People are farting. Definitely. So this is since films they're talking in films. That's what the difference is, isn't it? They had a big sit down, the first talkie. They gathered all the actors and went, right, guys, good news is we're going to hear you talk. Bad news is we got to stop farting. We've got to stop farting. People can't hear the dialogue. We need to change your diet. We need to get a plug, but things have to change around here. Wow. That's I can imagine. It must have been just so noisy and terrible for the sound crew as well. Yeah, terrible for the sound crew. This is why smell-o-vision hasn't been invented, though, because people can still do the silent but deadly farts. Of course. But as soon as smell-o-vision is invented, that's it. The end of farting as we know it. It'd be over, and then who'd want to be a film star when you can't even do a silent fart? I'm honestly trying to rack my brain. There must be a fart. There must be a recording of a famous fart. Surely Elvis. When he did all those sort of poses and wiggling his legs, you'd think that the fart would just escape during all that, wouldn't you? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it has to be. Surely when he was doing his little hip thrust and his wiggle, a fart escaped. Yeah. Almost certainly, but then maybe all the music behind him kind of covered it up. That's the thing with the musicians. I can kind of see how they'd get away with it because there's all the music, and some of those music sounds like farts or beats, and so you wouldn't be able to tell. Musicians who like to use big bands and lots of trumpets all hide in a Hollywood secret. Yeah, that's what they. That's what it is, and that's why in films there's always lots of music. and it's just covering up all the farts.
Oh, so all those romantic moments in films where they're sort of looking out into the distance and it's all a big crescendo-y music, they're actually just pausing for a fart.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, it's not that dramatic. It's just that we need to not hear the...
The bit on the Titanic when they're both, Jack's holding Kate and their arms are spread out and it's music and they're staring into they're just having a real long little twin fart.
That's it. Well, there's also I mean, well, I think that makes that film much better as far as I'm concerned, and also it really explains why the Titanic sank, because I think it'd just be like, "Whoa, no, that's it, going under." But I was going to say, there's all those action films where there's explosions in it, and of course, then you'd have to be really careful because if you farted and it made made the explosion worse, or
a fireball.
Yeah. But then I suppose that maybe you'd have a stunt farter. Is that how that works? I don't know.
Why would you need a stunt farter?
To fart in the bits where it's too dangerous for you to fart.
I mean, I don't want to sort of step on your creativity.
Sure.
But these are for films where they need farting.
Yeah, no, that's true. Yeah, that's where I've gone wrong. You're right. They don't need the farting. So you wouldn't need a stunt farter unless you were to purposefully fart. Yeah, that's right.
Yes, but I do think maybe you can get stunt doubles for everything, and it would make sense if you didn't want to fart in your contract and you went, I would like to get a stunt farter in, please.
Yes,
Billy Big Bum comes along.
Yeah.
Cracking farts.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, there's... I'm known for my farts, yeah. I farted for all the greats. Wow. That'd be amazing. That'd be amazing. I mean, the other thing that we, to come back to question one as well, is I suppose if celebrities farted, there's quite a lot of Lego sets of movies. They'd have to add big bum pieces to all of them, and maybe Lego have something to do with this.
This is what he wanted. This is the agenda. Big bum pieces. Why don't celebrity farts? Yeah. I see you, Sir Poopington Fartworthy. Was that close?
Yeah.
I see
that
what
was
you
correct.
want.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
It's just it's not a name you hear very often.
No, it's really not. It's really not. And as I said, I'm honoured that they listen to the show. We really get a range of famous celebrities who presumably don't fart when they listen to the show. It's I feel like we've uncovered some really deep kind of bum secrets. Some
bumspiracy theories.
Bumspiracy theories. That's it. And I worry. I don't. It feels like it needs an investigation of its own. Someone clever needs to go out there and really kind of tackle this properly. Yeah. Do you feel up
someone
to it?
with probes? Me, I'm very busy racing bricks.
Oh sure, yeah. Sorry. Yeah, and I've got other stuff to do. I want to eat an apple after this, so I'm not gonna investigate. I really want an apple. So
very busy adults.
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot going on. Well, hopefully, Sir Poopington Fartworthy is, hopefully we've kind of unearthed what it might be, and maybe they can now spend they're a Sir. They've probably got loads of money. They can probably spend the time and money actually investigating and finding out what the truth is.
Yeah. Best of luck to you, sir.
Yeah. Very good luck. Well, thank you, Eleri, for having the time. These were very serious subjects. Needed someone with your level of expertise, and I appreciate you having the time. Have you got you said you've got a busy day ahead. You got brick racing this afternoon?
Yeah. I was just training. We do lots of sort of conditioning work, really stretching the bricks out. Again, quite hard to stretch a brick. They're mainly just one shape.
Sure.
Conditioning, and then we're just going to work on trying to cut down some time.
Cool.
Before the big race on Saturday.
Oh, is it this Saturday? I had no idea. Wow.
Yeah, it's a big one. It's a big race, big brick race.
Yeah. Well, thank you again for. I can't believe you had time to chat when you've got all that going on. So, thanks again. It's been a joy having you on the show, and hopefully, good luck on Saturday, and we'll hopefully see you soon.
See you soon. Bye.
No, you see, that's just a myth.
Thanks so much to Eleri Morgan for answering Sir Poopington Fartworthy's very important questions, and hopefully LEGO are listening to this show and will soon make big bum pieces for all their minifigures and all the buildings, and several special Builder Big Bum sets. If you need your question answering on this show, then... Oh no, sorry, that's the Egyptian god Horus they're asking. Sorry, what's he asking? Thanks very much. I've got a leprechaun translating for me, which is very handy. Horus apparently wants to know if I can get him a chocolate from the shop. No, Horus, I don't even know where the shop here is. I'm sure it only takes gold pieces as well. I don't have any of those. So sorry, if any of you listeners have better questions for this show, then please do get your chattering shabbaroons, grown-ups, to help you email them to us at podcast@comedyclub4kids.co.uk. If you'd like to win a free 6-month subscription to Britannica magazine as well, then do email in your favourite weird or funny facts too, but only if you're in the UK. And of course, do check out our brilliant t-shirts in all sizes, even grown-up. No, sorry, not in giant size. Well, unless you want to wear one as a finger glove or an ear covering, would that work? Great, then yes, all sizes at comedyclubforkids.store. And of course, check out all our live shows too at comedyclubforkids.co.uk, and come and see us real in the real world, not on this silly myth world, which I have to say I've had a lot of fun here at the Comedy Club for Myths, but now I quite want to go back to my Comedy Club for Kids HQ now, because I don't really have real tea, and I don't feel very good after that siren song. That basilisk keeps looking at me and licking its lips, which is making me feel very uncomfortable. Stuart Leprechaun, how do I leave here? I've got to wait for the third blood moon, and then I'll be carried away by the Kelpies. Right, and when's the next blood moon that I have to wait for? 4,000 years? Oh, great. Well, I'm quite annoyed I ever visited then, to be honest. And all the food here is imaginary. I'm starving. What about if I just stop believing in all of you? Will that get me home? Great. Well, this is all mythical nonsense, and you are all too silly to be real. Home sweet home, back in lovely CC4K HQ, and now to put my feet up and have a lovely, lovely cuppa of real tea.
Riddle me this. Who is the stinkiest but also the worstest and the stupidest? It is you, silly human legs.
Great. You'd have to be the one that comes with, wouldn't you? Any ideas where I can get some Sphinx removers? Anyone? See you next week. Bye!
You have been listening to Comedy Club for Kids Presents. Radio nonsense! Radio nonsense! Radio nonsense! Radio nonsense! Radio nonsense! It's the end.